From helping you get a good night's sleep to ensuring appliances like your refrigerator work properly, there are many reasons to learn how to level an RV. Aside from those equipped with automatic landing gear, most RVs require some manual leveling. In this video, we're going to cover a few things. We're going to do the RV essentials that are required for proper leveling. I'll give you some leveling tips for both towable and motorized RVs, and then we'll do a very quick overview of the automatic leveling procedure. All right, let's start off with the tools you'll need. All right, let's quickly talk tools. You're going to need a couple different things. The first one is going to be wheel chocks for safety reasons, just to make sure that the travel trailer or motorhome or fifth wheel, whatever it is, isn't moving on you. You're also going to need some leveling blocks. This is how you're going to level from side to side. In order to know if you're level or not, well, you're going to need a level. Bubble level, nice and simple. We'll put this on the floor. We'll see that in a second. You're also, for any kind of travel trailer, you're going to need either a jack handle like so, or a 3/4 inch socket bit attachment for your power drill. So the first thing we want to do is to position the RV in the site. When backing in, just try to get as close as possible to being level from left to right. You can move forward and backward a little bit just to find the best spot in the site itself. Once you do that, you're going to want to place that bubble level we talked about on the RV floor, basically to check the level side to side, to be able to see which side we need to raise up with blocks. The next step is going to be to choose the number and location of leveling blocks. So we have to decide how far to raise the right or left tires to achieve level from left to right. If you're close, just try one block at first, right? If you're a little bit further off, then you probably want to do 2 or 3. More than 3 is not going to be recommended. So if you feel that you need more, you probably want to just reposition your RV. To make it a little bit easier to drive onto the blocks, you can essentially build a platform kind of in a configuration like this. So that way, as you can see, we're 2 blocks high, just makes it a little bit easier to back up and onto it. All right, the next step is going to be to actually pull onto the leveling block. So what you want to do is just look at the angle of your campsite and trailer to determine if it'll be easier to basically roll backward or pull forward onto the blocks. This tells you whether to place the blocks behind or in front of the tires. So using a spotter to guide you, you'll want to pull onto the leveling block slowly until you're centered on the highest one. If you're alone, you don't have a spotter, just make sure you go slow and check placement several times. Just be sure to set your parking brake each time you leave your tow vehicle. Okay, with that done, now it is time to recheck our level. If it's not level, we may have to remove some blocks, maybe add another block, maybe add one to the other side, but we're just going to repeat the process until we are nice and level. The next step is going to be to chalk our tires. We don't want to unhitch yet, we want to stay connected for safety. We're going to place the wheel chocks in front and behind at least one tire on either side, preferably one still contacting the ground. If you have to raise both sides of your RV to achieve level, you may need like an X-style wheel chock that doesn't require ground contact. But again, those are only going to work if you have dual axle trailers, not a single axle like this one. A larger set of wheel chocks may be required for single axles like we have here. Okay, with wheel chocks firmly in place, we can now disconnect the tow hitch and pull the tow vehicle clear. Just be sure to disconnect everything like your safety chains, breakaway cable, as well as your 7-pin connector. Now it's time to grab the bubble level again, but this time we're going to check level from front to back. So we're going to put that in there, see where we're at, and then we're going to adjust by simply using the tongue jack to raise the front up or down, or for a fifth wheel, you'll be raising and lowering the landing gear. All right, the next step is going to be to lower our stabilizing jack. So with the RV nice and level, you want to set down either jack pads or additional leveling blocks under the location where the jack feet are going to contact the ground. We're then simply going to lower the stabilizing jacks until they rest on the jack pads and ensure equal pressure essentially on all pads. But whatever you do, don't overextend, right? The jacks are just for stabilizing and they should not be used to lift your RV or to adjust level at all. Also, if you have a slide out on your RV, make sure that your stabilizer jacks are down before you open up your slide out. And that's really all there is going to be when it comes to towables. Now, motorhomes are pretty similar, but there are a few key differences. The first one is the fact you're going to need additional leveling blocks if your campsite requires placing them under all 4 tires. Also, some motorhome owners avoid wheel chocks because their RV has a transmission and a parking brake, but it's honestly just a smart failsafe to include, especially on particularly unlevel sites. Lastly, because there's no tongue jack to adjust the level front to back, all adjustments are going to be made by varying the number of blocks under each tire, both front to back and side to side. Now, if you have an auto level system, obviously that's going to be a different operation altogether. We do have a video for that and I will link it in the description. Definitely recommend watching that. But there are a few things that I want to go over because a lot of people think it's just as easy as pushing a button, right? But there are definitely some precautions that need to be taken. So Real quick, let's go through a few of them. The first one is parking your RV. You still need to start fairly level. So you want to get your bubble level and check that you're as level as possible when parking. Ideally, you'll want to position the front of your RV on the lower end of an uneven campsite. The reason is that it's actually easier to raise the front than the rear. This is especially important in motorhomes because only the rear wheels are locked when you set the transmission in park. So your RV could technically roll off the jacks if you raise one or both wheels off the ground, which obviously is something you want to avoid. However, you can alleviate issues by setting the parking brake if applicable and placing wheel chocks in front and behind the front wheels. The next one is placing jack pads. You'll want to place either the jack pads or leveling blocks under the leveling feet. The reason for this is because jack pads are going to prevent the jacks from sinking and protect the campsite pad. Remember, believe it or not, that jacks can sink on hot asphalt as these things weigh a lot. Again, if you're looking for that procedure on how to use the auto level system, we will link that video. Hopefully you found all these tips helpful. I'm Ian Baker. Thanks for watching. And until next time, we'll see you.